Sunday, August 18th, 2019. And this is the Pro and the Con Show, and I'm your host, Michael James Ott. Welcome to the show. Again, another 10 or 15 minutes to try to get people to be better citizens, to be out there, trying to understand the full measure of the issues, the pro and the con, the good and the bad, the for and against, strongly encouraging people to look at multiple sources of information so you can hopefully help ferret out a lot of the bias that's out there. Find out that a certain stream of information that isn't even covering a story, that the other streams of information are. This is all, and then how they cover the different stories that are out there, the different news items that are important to us every day. Today's show is Habitat for Humanity, and actually it's a makeup show from yesterday. Yesterday I had the good fortune of spending some time with some of the folks from the organization called Habitat for Humanity, and they had a booth at a public event in the Twin Cities at a park there. It was a very nice day, a nice event, beautiful weather, and so on. And the whole point behind being there was to try to promote, and extend the knowledge of people, passers-by, about what Habitat for Humanity is. Habitat, just generally, is an organization that's trying to help people get good housing at an affordable price. Okay, good housing at an affordable price. And years ago, so I've been involved with Habitat off and on for at least 25 years, I would say. And years ago, it was much more specialized. They really only had one way to really help people with housing, and that was there was a very specific path where you step by step volunteered to work on other homes and went through and did certain things to qualify for the special financing and the opportunity to purchase one of these Habitat homes that were built by volunteers, people like me. So I had the good fortune back when I was living in the Carolinas to one of my good friends was one of the regional people very much associated, like on the regional board of the Habitat or something like that. I'm not going to get it exactly right, but something like that. Anyway, he's the one that got me involved, and it's down there they would often get a tract of land donated to them, several acres, and then they would subdivide that tract of land, and they would actually build a little Habitat subdivision, and so multiple homes, nice little floor plans, good solid construction. A bunch of volunteers like myself doing the work, but always under the supervision of skilled people with expertise in how to do it. And ultimately, the homes were, very solidly constructed and high quality, and very affordably priced, and also with the associated, they had a associated affordable financing. So that's what it was 25 years ago, and now it's expanding this whole Habitat for Humanity. So this year I've actually volunteered several times, well, I think 3 times, in a Habitat Restore, and this is a kind of a recycling store. It's similar to like a big box chain like Home Depot or Lowe's, except for the materials that are in there, building materials and furniture and all that, that's all stuff that was donated to Habitat and now is in these warehouses to be recycled. So there's, doors and sinks and bathtubs and faucets and tools and, all kinds of nails and screws and, drywall stuff. The list goes on and on and on. And so the whole intent is that, we recycle these things. They don't end up in a dumpster. and then in a landfill, and also, again, quality materials at affordable prices. And on top of that, there's also Habitat, I found out yesterday, I didn't know, is doing some things with, affordable financing just on standard homes to try to help people who qualify. And there's still a structure. People, this is, considered to be a hand up, not a handout. So you have to kind of get your life and your family in a structured way where you're taking on the responsibility of paying back for your housing, but it's in a much more affordable way, because the intent is, again, to try to lift perfectly good people who just haven't had the right breaks, give them a little bit of a lift. And my experience over the 25 years, and I think there's plenty of articles and stuff that all the families, the vast majority of the families that have gone through and lived in Habitat homes, they have continued to flourish. They have been up and coming and up and rising folks, and that's exactly what we should be doing. So Habitat for Humanity, it's great. Just go to the website. You can Google it, Habitat for Humanity, and volunteer, or if you're looking for advice on affordable housing, or looking to get affordable housing or whatever, Habitat for Humanity. Now, while I speak about Habitat for Humanity, I don't want to lose sight of the fact that we have this climate change thing going on, and this Earth, the Earth, okay, this planet that we're on, is our Habitat for Humanity. Ultimately, it is the ultimate Habitat for Humanity. And we are really, really flummoxing this thing. So just a few things just to make sure people get this. So there's now almost 8 times the number of people on the planet than there was 200 years ago. 8 times. And just to make sure that hits home, just imagine if wherever you are, there are suddenly 8 times the number of people in that same place, in your apartment, in your house, in your condo, in your mobile home, wherever it is that you're living. There's suddenly 8 times the number of people in the streets, like the streets of New York or Chicago or Houston or whatever. Suddenly 8 times the people. Think the environment's different? I think it is. Secondly, it's a known fact. Measurable. The concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is solidly 2 times, and going up 2 times higher than it has been historically. So if you look back before this 200-year period, before the last 50 or 60 years, the level of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is solidly twice as high and going up. And there isn't a single scientist or engineer that knows that is in any way a good source. Anyway, you know what I'm saying. There is not a single person that is actually knowledgeable about this that would say that CO2 is not a greenhouse gas. It is. Everybody knows, we know, that the more carbon dioxide that there is in the atmosphere, the more the energy of the sun is retained. Okay? It's true. We know it for a fact. We can monitor it if there's, some kind of large event. You can actually track the heat retained as a cloud of CO2 goes around the world. This is not some kind of mystic thing. This is the truth. So we've got to get the CO2 levels down on our planet. We simply have to do it, much like we had to get rid of some of the refrigerants that we were using because they were getting into the atmosphere and they were destroying the ozone layer. And we did that. Okay, these chemicals were destroying the ozone layer. We knew that was direct because we could do experiments. You can determine this is absolutely true. And so what did we do? We went through and we changed the types of refrigerants and how they're regulated and stuff like that. And we got rid of those things in the atmosphere. And lo and behold, the ozone layers are now restoring themselves. Okay, we need to do the same thing with CO2. So remember, Habitat for Humanity, the organization, but also this earth, we've got to work on it, and we got to do it now. Okay, Habitat for Humanity. So this is the Pro and Con Show. I'm Michael James Ott. Till the next show, bye for now.